When you turned off the light last night, did your mind actually stop, or did the weight of tomorrow just settle heavily into your chest? There is a specific kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. It is the deep, bone-weary fatigue that comes from feeling like everything depends on you and realizing you are running out of strength to keep it all together. We tend to think we are exhausted because we have too much to do, or because the schedule is packed, or because the people in our lives are asking for too much. But what if the problem is not the size of your load? What if the real reason you are burning out is simply how you are carrying it? By the time we finish our time together today, you are going to understand exactly why your spirit feels so drained, and more importantly, how to lay down that invisible, suffocating weight without letting down the people who rely on you. You can find a way to walk through your daily responsibilities with a quiet, steady peace, completely free from the constant anxiety of failing. To find that peace, we have to look at a famous invitation found in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. Jesus says, "Come unto me, all ye that labour and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." When we read those words, we often get stuck on the word yoke. To our modern ears, a yoke sounds like bondage or slavery, something designed to control or restrict. But in the ancient world, it meant something entirely different. It was a tool for work, and Jesus used it to illustrate two completely opposite ways of handling life. Picture two different people facing the exact same difficult week. The first person is straining, sweating, and constantly anxious. Every new demand feels like a personal attack, and every unexpected problem threatens to break them. They are white-knuckling their way through the day, completely consumed by the fear that if they drop just one ball, everything will collapse. Now look at the second person. They are facing the exact same pressure, the same tight budget, the same family stress, and the same heavy workload. Yet, they are moving with a strange, unhurried stability. They are fully present, they are kind to others, and they sleep soundly at night. They are carrying the exact same weight, but they are not being crushed by it. The difference between these two people is not their circumstances, it is their connection. In the ancient agricultural world, a yoke was a heavy wooden bar carved specifically to fit across the necks of two oxen. It was never meant for a single animal. If you put a yoke on just one ox, the uneven weight would twist its neck, bruise its shoulders, and eventually break its strength. The entire purpose of the yoke was distribution. It paired a younger, inexperienced ox with an older, stronger, well-trained ox. When the younger animal wanted to run ahead, the yoke held it back. When it wanted to give up and lie down, the older, stronger partner kept moving forward, pulling the majority of the weight. When Jesus says to take his yoke upon you, he is not adding a new set of rules or a heavier workload to your life. He is asking you to step into the empty side of a two-person frame. He is telling you that you have been trying to pull a two-man load all by yourself, and he is offering to slide in right next to you to take the brunt of the weight. Think about a tandem bicycle. If you have ever ridden one, you know how it works. Two people sit on the same frame, both pedalling. But if the person in the front seat is doing all the steering and all the heavy pedalling, while the person in the back seat is fighting against every turn, trying to steer from behind, the ride becomes terrifying and utterly exhausting. Most of us treat our relationship with God like we are riding on the back of that bicycle, but we are constantly reaching over the shoulder of the leader, trying to grab the handlebars, trying to force our own direction, and yelling because our legs hurt from doing all the work. True rest comes when you finally stop trying to steer from the back seat. It comes when you trust the strength of the one who is actually leading the pace. When you are trying to carry everything on your own, your life starts to show the warning signs. You can diagnose your spiritual exhaustion by looking at a few common symptoms. First, you might find yourself constantly irritated by minor inconveniences. When a spilled glass of water or a red light feels like a major tragedy, that does not mean you are a bad person or a failure as a Christian. It means your soul is so full of pressure that it has absolutely no margin left to absorb the normal bumps of life. Second, you might notice a persistent feeling of resentment toward the very people you love and serve. You find yourself thinking about how much you do and how little everyone else seems to care. That does not mean you have stopped loving them. It means you are operating out of an empty reserve, giving away pieces of yourself that you have not allowed God to replenish. Third, you might experience a total lack of joy in your spiritual life. Prayer feels like a chore, reading scripture feels like an obligation, and church feels like just another event on a busy calendar. That does not mean you have lost your faith. It means you have turned a living relationship into a heavy checklist, trying to perform for God instead of resting in Him. Here is where most people get it wrong when they hit this wall of exhaustion. We think the solution to burnout is complete isolation or total inactivity. We think if we can just get away for a weekend or drop all our responsibilities or find a better job, then our souls will finally heal. But true biblical rest is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of a partner. Jesus does not offer you a vacation from your life. He offers you a new way to live your life. He does not remove the yoke, He changes who is pulling it with you. If you just walk away from your current responsibilities without changing how you carry them, you will just find new things to worry about in your new situation. To actually experience the easy yoke Jesus promised, you have to intentionally change your daily habits. Step 1. Practice morning surrender. Psalm 5 verse 3 says, "My voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up." The old habit is waking up and immediately checking your phone, allowing the demands, the news, and the anxieties of the world to dictate your mental state before your feet even hit the floor. The new habit is spending your first 5 minutes in silence, explicitly telling God, "I cannot carry this day alone. I am stepping into your yoke today. You set the pace, and I will follow." Step 2. Set boundary lines based on trust. Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." The old habit is saying yes to every demand out of fear that people will be disappointed, or out of a prideful belief that if you do not do it, it will not get done right. The new habit is recognizing your human limitations as a gift from God, learning to say a gracious no, and trusting that God is fully capable of taking care of the things you cannot reach. Step 3. Establish intentional pauses throughout the day. Psalm 46 verse 10 tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." The old habit is rushing blindly from one task to the next, fueled by caffeine and nervous energy, driving yourself into the ground. The new habit is creating 3-minute islands of stillness in your afternoon. Stop what you are doing, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that the universe is resting safely on his shoulders, not yours. Step 4. Audit your self-talk at night. Psalm 4 verse 8 says, "I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety." The old habit is lying in bed, mentally replaying your mistakes, worrying about tomorrow's problems, and trying to solve everything before morning. The new habit is deliberately closing your eyes and handing the unfinished business over to God, acknowledging that He does not sleep, so you can. When you begin to live this way, the change is not dramatic or loud. It is a quiet, steady shift in your posture. You do not force your way through difficulties anymore, you simply take the next step. You do not panic when plans change. You look to your side and realize the one leading you is not panicked either. You still work hard, you still care deeply, and you still love well. But the heavy, grinding friction is gone. The burden becomes light because you are no longer the one bearing the weight of the outcome. It is not about your strength, it is about His capacity. It is not about your perfection, it is about His presence. It is not about doing more for God, it is about living life with God. If you are ready to stop trying to carry it all on your own, take a moment right now and type, "Lord, I give you my heavy load," in the comments below as a physical sign of your surrender. If you know someone who is quietly drowning in the pressures of life right now, please share this video with them today. They might need this reminder more than you know. And if you want to continue learning how to walk in the peace and rest that God promises, make sure to subscribe so we can keep studying the Word together. Until next time, leave the heavy lifting to the one who made the world. Step into His yoke and rest your soul.